Our next run is my friendly neighborhood CEO percent that Nerd Squared is going to be running. We still have $115 to go for those chipmunk places, but we're just about out of time for that because that run is ready. So let's go to Nerd Squared with my friendly neighborhood CEO percent. Good luck and take it away.
Alright, I think we're good. Hi, I'm Nerd. You might see me in some circles. I run a lot of horror games. I'll be running My Friendly Neighborhood, a pretty charming indie game that came out last year. You might have heard it called the Muppet Horror Game. That's very accurate to what this game is. Because imagine Resident Evil on Sesame Street, and that's this game in a nutshell. Joining me on couch is going to be Slayton.
Hello, hello. I'm Slighton. I recently ran this game at SGDQ. If you saw that run, it's nowhere near the same.
Yeah.
That event ended, and we have taken 3 minutes off already, and the route is completely different, so it'll be a whole new experience.
Yeah, there's a very recent reroute that, as Slighton is alluding to, completely changed how the game was ran. To give a short summary, and of course we'll go over it during the run, Gordon, our main character here, is going to turn into Sonic the Hedgehog, and we'll elaborate why, or how that's going to happen. I'm also doing this with a speedrun mode, which is basically a very convenient in-game timer that Ducky put into the game, so thanks Ducky. So we'll go ahead and start a new game just to refresh the timer there. So quick cutscene that we'll skip. And time is going to start in a second when I pick my difficulty. Oh. Fun layout. It's fine. We'll work with this stuff. So we'll play on normal because that's just kind of the legacy difficulty that most runs are done on. And it's also no major glitches. We'll touch on that in a second. And yeah, like I said, time starts when we pick difficulties. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
Good luck.
Last job of the day.
Yeah, thank you.
What's this one about?
Alright, so right away we pick up a chocolate bar. I believe the name of it is something like Choco 8 or something. Something like that. Bear that chocolate bar in mind for later, because you're going to be seeing that a lot. Because that chocolate bar is basically the crux of the reroute that will come up a bit later on. It's not until like probably 6 or 7 minutes in. We also took a bit of a dev exit right there. It's a little shortcut that'll let us get into the first major area right away. We also grabbed our first weapon there. We'll be running CEO percent. We have to do this safe. To grab a secret item here. This is a fuse we'll need for later, as well as some shells for the shotgun. Yeah, like I was saying, this is CEO percent, which is basically our 100% category. We have to grab all the weapons, which we just got the first run right there with the shotgun, otherwise known as the novelist. And then we also have to help all 4 of the puppets and then get the best ending by just picking a certain dialogue choice at the end. And helping each of those puppets usually involves some sort of side quest or secret item we have to grab. Again, CEO percent, we have to get all the weapons. So we'll grab the wrench right there. We'll also grab the blue key, because this game, like I mentioned at the start, it definitely takes after the Resident Evil games in terms of design, so we'll have to grab keys to get places. And this is the first big divergence of the route. Go into the safe room, grab some keys, or not some keys, but some coins. There are a set spawn right there. We'll be grabbing a lot of those coins throughout the entire run, basically until the last 4 minutes or so. That's how we're going to grab all our chocolate bars for the super secret routing thing you'll see later. Now we're in the first area, the backlot. If you ever intend to play this game at all, I highly encourage you do, and when you do, just go into an area like this where there's a bunch of puppets squeezed into one room, and just listen. to what they're saying, because they say some absolutely ridiculous stuff. Speaking of ridiculous, we're just gonna like walk on this ledge that doesn't exist. There's a bit of collision that just barely sticks out of that wall. There's like a few points in the game that are like that, and we can just walk on it by pressing ourselves like against the wall to skip some puzzling we'd have to do. There's like a gate we'd have to lower to get to that key otherwise. Of course, it's fish time, so we're going to switch to the fish. We have to switch to different symbols on that clock to access different items in the stage. By switching to the fish there, it'll let us grab the secret item that we need to help our first mascot that we'll be helping in this run. You might have seen her as we were just going through that main hub, and you'll probably see her a few times as we go through here. It's this big pink bird named Pearl. Her issue is that she is blind, and we need glasses to get her eyesight restored. She probably needs a LASIK or something. We're going to go with these toy glasses instead. Besides that, our main goal here is to grab a bunch of toy bots by going all over these apartments that are scattered throughout the back lot, including this Norman right here that's in a very interesting position. Don't worry about it. We'll grab that. We have to wait there because like the game waits for you to. You have to wait for the water to drain before you can grab it. So yeah, besides the whole thing with CEO percent that I explained before, I did mention briefly that we were running the no major glitches rule set. Of course, there are glitches and out of bounds in this game, but for CEO percent, there wasn't really a way to implement it. But a route was devised by one of our main glitch-heavy category runners named Hippinator. For this category, that ends up saving a few minutes. But we're running no major glitches because it's, in my opinion, the more interesting of the two. And it's also one I'm familiar with. So we'll put the clock there to mushroom. Now let's grab our last toy block. Let's use our first chocolate bar of the run. The chocolate bars give you a little bit of a boost in speed. And something to keep in mind with the chocolate bar, and why we're able to do this whole reroute in the first place, is when you get the chocolate bar, it gives you a speed boost, but that speed boost multiplies exponentially. It basically stacks infinitely. So you can imagine as you keep using chocolate bars, your speed goes up really fast. Also, I have to go back here because I had a brain fart, forgot to activate this event with Pearl. Once you actually help the puppets, you have to trigger a cutscene that shows that you helped them. So you have to go over there to get a little cutscene with Pearl. And I already grabbed the crank, so we can go ahead and leave. Getting that crank will allow us to go to the sewers, which is the next main area. Grabbing a quick coin as we leave from that locker. Again, we need coins to get chocolate bars, so we'll just grab one right there as we exit. And there's a few points in this run, since we actually have to go out of our way to get the chocolate bars, where we have to grab a bunch of chocolate bars in a row. And I have to buy a specific amount here, so I'll be doing a bit of counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The game is fun and educational.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to my friendly neighborhood where you learn how to count. And the actual reason we have to count there, by the way, or at least why I do it, is because just to make sure I don't overspend and get too many chocolate bars on accident. Because it's something with this category, even with the Sugar Rush route, and especially with the Sugar Rush route, which is what the new reroute is called, it's very intensive on inventory management, because there's obviously a lot of items we'll be grabbing to help all these puppets and do puzzles, and obviously some of the ammo we'll be grabbing. So you have to be pretty tight with your inventory, to the point where there's like very specific inventory routing, where we have to place items in certain spots in our inventory to make it line up better. Speaking of which, I mismanaged my ammo right here, so I just have to waste ammo right there. And when I shot that probably right there, named Junebug, I was trying to do a trick with her where you can like tape her in midair as you shoot her if you like time the interact press really quick. I didn't get it, unfortunately. It doesn't even save anything, it just looks cool, because whenever you tape a puppet, which is how you get them to stay still, they're just stuck where you tape them, so you can just, you'll see her like levitating in air later in the game. So yeah, our next big puzzle is to get a punch cards from punch card machine, and we're grabbing the component of that here in this room, or at least the second part of the like power supply, I guess it is, for that machine. There we go, we just got the power supply, and I just used our first chocolate bar. It's going to be a start of our first chocolate bar chain of the run. Important thing with the chocolate bar is it only lasts for 3 screen transitions, or 4 screens total. So every 4 screens-ish during these chocolate bar chains, I have to make sure to use a chocolate bar again in order to keep that chain going, otherwise your speed completely resets.
This is also how we've all discovered we're really bad at counting.
Yeah.
All those transitions, they don't work out when you're doing the speedrun.
Yeah.
The numbers don't work.
Yeah. I actually have the rooms to use and just kind of memorized in my head, at least for this category. It's like right here I have to use another chocolate bar.
Wow.
So I don't even count, I just recognize, oh, I'm in this room, I have to use a chocolate bar now, kind of thing. Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, you go ahead.
And as you'll see as we go on, the faster we get. If we misremember what room to use that chocolate bar in and we go one too far, the speed drops so much that you lose minutes.
Yeah. So you have to keep a pretty close eye on it. Like I said, I have the rooms you have to use have been memorized. It's also kind of a double-edged sword being able to go this fast. Because as you can see, we're starting to get faster and faster. Way faster than the game was really designed for. So you'll, because there's a lot of narrow hallways, obviously. So you'll most likely see me bump into walls at some point or another. Because when you get so fast from the chocolate bars like this, it gets to a point where Gordon controls like he's on ice. Yeah, which took our first boat trip there. That'll give us a shortcut to go to previous areas already been to. Like I said, we need a lot of coins to grab these chocolate bars, so grabbing a few on top of doing this big chocolate bar chain. The reason we're grabbing these plugs is to go to, well, A, open up a door for later, but also go to our first secret area, because again, it's a CEO%, I have to grab all the weapons. There's a secret area we have to, that is behind a secret door. Funny how that works. And I have to put the plugs I'm grabbing here in a certain order to open that door. And the thing is, I know the order that I have to put the plugs in, but I don't have the actual order of the symbols on the plugs memorized. So if I mess it up, we're gonna be struggle bugging it for a second.
Don't worry, if there's an issue, I have the combination.
Okay, cool. So here's our last chocolate bar of this chain right here. You can see just how fast we're moving here. And it's as hard to control as it looks. So you'll see like right here when I go up to that shelf, I have to like momentarily let go of my movement controls just to reorient myself. Got the plugs with no issues. That's the thing with running this category, or any category in this game with the Sugar Rush route. You're already concentrating on just not bonking. And then you have a brain fart if it gets to do a puzzle, and you're like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, now we're in the secret area where we're going to grab that weapon I was talking about. Which is very easy to traverse because of the sheer speed we have from all the chocolate bars. And the secret weapon is right here with these 3 gems that I grabbed in this chest. And we get the best worst weapon in the game right there. And I say the best worst weapon because the weapon that we just grabbed there is the conclusion, which is a 999 ammo machine gun. So you would think, oh, that's a pretty good weapon. It's not. It's not. The damage is horrendous for each bullet you shoot.
We have learned it does less than 1 damage per hit.
Yep.
which didn't know that was possible.
There's also, speaking of, there's another dev secret we ended up learning from the SGDQ run that plays a part in the route, which ends up coming into play at the very end. Oh, we didn't get Ray there. When you shoot the gun, obviously it's a machine gun, so it shoots pretty fast. And when you shoot it at Ray, who is like this red guy that's in the pipes, he makes a really interesting sound, especially with, I think, a soda or something you can get later that makes you shoot even faster. And we got those pliers, which is part of the reason why we got those plugs, so we can open this door. So let's go to our second main area.
This must be the elevator Ricky was talking about.
And the second main area, the studio, I believe it's called. It's either the studio or the offices. This is where every run goes to die, if it hasn't already, from Pearl being annoying at the start. Because, oh boy, this part is awful, both in terms of dodging the puppets, and also because of a big point of RNG that we'll talk about later. It isn't so bad here because we can just use the machine gun to, for example, get rid of that small puppet, but dodges get really rough later in this area. Just get rid of all these items with inventory management. Don't want to put away a shotgun. We'll just put all those in the inventory, make space for, again, all the chocolate bars we'll be grabbing, but there's also 4 masks we'll be grabbing in order to do another puzzle here. It's also kind of nice that I got that wrench hit on the puppet, that smaller puppet there, because they're so squirrely, they're extremely hard to hit. Because, like, not only are they really fast, so you have to time your shots right, they're also really small, obviously, so it's a little hard to actually nail down where to hit them. Like, if you want to be really ballsy, you can just not use the shotgun at all in this next area and exclusively use the wrench. But we're gonna grab our first mask there, and we're gonna get bombarded by all these puppets storming the theater. And that one room, even though it looked pretty simple, just like throwing a grenade there, it went through a bunch of different iterations. Because at first we just lured the puppets and ran past them. Then we used a few shotgun shells to get past them. And then when the Sugar Rush route came along, we ended up using a single grenade, which is much easier. Also, I'm going to try to run past George here. Hopefully I don't get grabbed. Okay. That one's actually pretty tight, because he's like basically right next to you as you get in that door. I just went in there to grab some shells and again another coin for more bar collecting. And I grabbed a safety health there for no reason in particular. But the actual reason I grabbed it is because I mentioned that big point on RNG earlier when it came to the studio. If you're not all familiar with this game, you probably know what's coming up. But there's a board game we have to play to get another key. It's like a red diamond-shaped key. The board game you have to play is basically similar to the board game Life, if you ever played that in real life. And the deck you get, which basically takes the amount of spaces you can move, is completely random. The AI of the puppet that plays against us, Norman right there, is completely random. And the cards that we get from the pile that we have to draw from are also completely random. So you can very well get cases where you just lose several times in a row to him. And each time you lose to him, right here, you take damage. So that's why I got those safety heals. But to briefly summarize this game, that's actually a good starting hand. To briefly summarize this game, if you land on Norman space, that little brown space right there, you have to draw a card. If you land on the Leonard or purple space, you have to play a 1. If you land on a Junebug space, you have to hold on, he's being a little...
Ooh, no.
It's fine, we'll clutch it. Or not, because I accidentally went on the Goblet space.
Stay back.
Yeah, if you land on the Leonard space, you have to play a 1, and only a 1. Otherwise, you'll get smacked like that. Also, I don't know why I played a 3, or 1, I'm flustered. And then if you land on Junebug space, you have to immediately play the top card of the deck over here. And if you land on the Goblet space, you're done. You're out of there. And it's rough. As you saw there, he can just, like, catch up to you when you least expect it, and you have to just hope and pray that you get a good card. And if he gets close here, you have to, like, gamble and hope that you get a good draw. But we should...
also...
Yep.
Sorry?
No, you go ahead.
We do also know from the dev himself that Norman can cheat in this board game. If he lands on the Junebug space, which makes you play a top card of the deck, but it's a 1 on top and that would make him lose, he just won't play it. He'll just sit there until you either win or you lose. There's no way around it.
Yep. Yeah, and that was second try, which isn't too bad, but it can go a lot worse than that. I think Slime was doing the run earlier today, and he lost that board game 6 times. And it's also very possible that I could have lost even more times than that, and died from taking all that damage. But, surprisingly, even with that, we probably would have been underestimated still, because of how much time Sugar Rush saves. Yeah, this is what we got the masks for. We just have to put them on these representations of the different puppet mascots in a certain order. Now let's get these dice. Again, puzzles leading to more puzzles. Resident Evil seeming design inspiration. And we'll do that fake ledge technique again, just to get down the stairs a bit faster. Oh, you'll notice also that I'm hitting these puppets with the wrench a lot. That's a pretty big ratting thing that changed the game back when it first released, in terms of the speedrun. Because if you hit a puppet with the wrench when they haven't noticed you, it stuns lock them for a second, basically allowing you to pass by them freely, which is super nice. Get certain numbers on the dice there so we can get this tank. That'll let us power an elevator to get to the CEO's office. Also, we have to do a quick dodge here. Okay. Have to wait for a specific timing there to run past Goblet, that big green dude, in order to get past him, otherwise he damages you. Do not really the fake ledge technique, but a similar thing. Just slant up that table right there. Minor time saver. Okay, I don't know how that didn't connect. Thank you, Liliana. And I ended up knocking her out. That's what you get. Yeah, with
There's a very small window for her there.
Yeah.
They should fix that out.
Yeah, it sounds like them for a second, and you get a free pass past the puppets. It basically makes it so we don't have to rely nearly as much with ammo from like the shotgun and the pistol later on. We've taken another big detour, kind of similar to what we did with the Pirate Cove earlier to get the conclusion. Because we need to help Ray, we need to get a plug down here to like fix some machinery he's working on, which you'll see later when we get to it. Also get a film reel in this toilet, don't ask how that's there, to help Goblet in the theater after we do a quick boss fight coming up. Which, if you played this game casually, you probably struggle with it a little bit, but I'll show you an easy 2-step process to defeat him in a second.
The dev is not a fan of it. The many times he's seen it, he curses our name afterwards.
Yeah, if he's watching the stream, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to your game. Outside of, you know, making Gordon nearly die from a heart attack from the amount of sugar he's consumed. We'll make our way up to the CEO office so we can get a key to get out of here. Like I said before, inventory management is very important. And the way that manifests here is I want to have a specific amount of shotgun shells leaving this area, which is 2. And I already have 2 right now, so I don't have to worry about it too much. There's like an enemy I need to dodge later on when we return to the sewers for an item later. And that's all I need the 2 shotgun shells for. Past that, we won't be using the shotgun for the rest of the game. Yeah, that boss was alluding to, it's this guy, it's this like curtain that's alive and there's a bunch of eyes on it that you have to damage, and it takes a while. But the speedrun strat for it, it's this. Just throw 2 grenades at him and he's dead. Now that looks kind of easy, and to be fair it is. But you actually have to do a pretty particular timing with that, because you saw how when the boss fight started, he was kind of screaming at you, or screaming at me all menacingly, I have to wait until that animation's done, and then I can throw the 2 grenades to kill him. Going back to the theater, because we need to put in tape right here, tape number 2. There we go, that will let us help Goblet, and then we just have to get our cutscene with him in the theater. And I take the specific path here to get to the projection room, because it just avoids some puppets we'd encounter otherwise. It doesn't really save or lose time, it's just safer. As I go into the theater as well, I'll be using another chocolate bar. Start another chocolate bar chain. Don't worry about what he's watching. It's nothing important. Just some existentialism done quick, I guess. I use a chocolate bar there. I'm gonna start another chocolate bar chain. And this is the biggest chain in the whole run, because we'll be buying 10 chocolate bars here. I'm also going to get rid of that key I just used to get out of the studio, because I need to make more room for the chocolate bars we're grabbing here. Like I said, there's 10 chocolate bars we're grabbing, so more counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, that's the last one.
Yay, we hit double digits!
Yeah! We're graduating to 2nd grade. So yeah, with this particular chocolate bar chain being so long, you'll really start to see the effects of how fast we can go with Sugar Rush. As I mentioned how when you get so fast, you just start controlling like you're on ice. That's not a joke. You'll see that later on. And like we were alluding to, we have to use them at specific points, so I'll just use it again in the save shed here. Again, we're gonna have to grab more coins, because after this big chain, there's one last one we'll have to do, going into the end game. The quest here with the garden, which is this next area we're going to, is we have to take an elevator to get to what's the final area of the game. The penthouse, that you might be familiar with again if you've played this game. But it's currently blocked by like some jam that's holding the doors to the elevator closed. So we're going to be gathering some ingredients here to create a solvent to dissolve that, I guess, strawberry jelly that's not good in the elevator. And the order here has actually changed a bit in the routing, because depending on the category, you actually grab these ingredients in a different order. Like in NMG, for example, although it might be different when Sugar Rush gets implemented into that, which I'm currently working on. Yep, you grab it in a different order, so on and so forth. The first ingredient we grab in here is the film developer, I believe. But we're going to take another detour here, because we're going to be going to help Ray. Now we have the plug for the machine he's definitely fixing, even though it's really just banging it with his wrench. There he is.
Hey, that's not gonna fix it.
Just turn the valve, cleaning that plug. That gets rid of all the trash here. Helping Ray, sort of. And this next area is pretty dangerous because we have to move with this Sonic the Hedgehog-like movement speed while Norman is chasing after us after we grab the film developer. So hopefully Norman sights a play nice and doesn't grab me. I'm gonna play it safe actually, like I usually do. Just use chalk bar once I get to the door. Also, whenever I use the chalk bar, you might have noticed a couple of times that it just didn't activate. Whenever you're using an item in the hache case inventory, you might have seen a few times, there's like a minor bug, minor but very annoying bug, where when you go to use it, when you press confirm to use it, it just defaults the cursor to cancel for some reason. Which isn't a huge deal in the grand scheme, especially with how long this run is, but it can lose you precious seconds if it decides to be mean. Doing our last chocolate bar trip of the run. Get ready for this. And I'm getting these two pieces of I guess it's a metal slab? Or a metal or medallion. 1, 2,
2,
yep, 3,
3. Feel free to count with us.
4,
4.
and 5. That's the last chocobar we'll be grabbing. We're grabbing those 2 slabs of like a metal medallion, I guess. Because we need to grab some extra ammo for the end game. There's a couple of grenades we grab in here. And we also need to cut through this area anyway. Because to help the dogs, who you might have seen a few times, I'll be feeding them some kibble. So we need to go through the aviary to grab it. We have to do this quick battery puzzle, which I have memorized, in order to get the bonus ammo we're looking for. Okay, there we go, there's our grenades. And finally, we're going to get rid of the shotgun. Say bye to the shotgun. We're not going to see it for the rest of the game.
Bye-bye, shotgun. You did
Yeah.
us well for a year.
Yeah, fun fact, by the way, this game was only a year old. Just putting that out there.
It is crazy for how many iterations every single category has gone through at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, even what I was alluding to earlier with the theater. Just imagine that, but the entire game. Anyways, we finally grabbed the pistol, or the Rolodexer as it's actually called. Sadly, it isn't too useful for speedruns, because it's a pretty weak weapon compared to the Novelist or the shotgun. But we will be using it at the end of the game. Just not for a while. Yeah. Back to the studio or stage backlot here, because we need to grab that key to get to the playground in the garden from earlier. Because that's where another ingredient of the solvent is, which I believe is a weed whacker of sorts. But before we go there, we're going to go here to the offices again. Because another ingredient for the solvent again, in the sound studio here, is a trumpet polish. Right over here in this booth. So we'll grab that, and then we'll immediately leave. The chocolate bar. There's 2 more uses of the chocolate bar. Well, technically 4, but like 2, the last of the last big chain in the run coming up. And this part is annoying because those dogs, as you can see, they love to like chase us and want to give us a face lick or something. But we're just sliding around on ice because we're moving so fast.
And at this speed even, we can technically fly a little bit. Because we can move faster than gravity works.
Yeah, just like right there. We just fly right out of the playground. Use one last chocolate bar right there. It's not technically required to do that. I just like to do it because it lets you save a few seconds when you're grabbing the solvent right here. Alright, we have to hold these buttons for a certain amount of time to make the solvent. Which isn't too bad, but you can like let go of the buttons too early and it won't count.
Yeah, if you mess up that puzzle at all, it will play this about 2.5, 3 second animation where it crashes, bangs, and you have to do the entire thing all over again. And you lose 10 seconds. It's great.
Yep, it's obnoxious, but we didn't have it happen there. Because I learned to press the mouse button for a certain amount of time. Anyways, now that we have our solvents, we can go to the penthouse finally. And weirdly enough, compared to the rest of the game, this area is actually pretty chocobar free. Because the thing is, we do so many screen transitions by going between a bunch of different rooms a bunch of times, it wouldn't really be useful. And it's probably my personal favorite area of the game, because, like, just look at this. It's like it's like someone drew on a piece of cardboard and made that a level. It's great. Anyways, I don't technically need to grab that safety health, I just decided to do so. Because there are some enemies you have to dodge in the second half of the penthouse. And we get to the most illogical puzzle in the entire game, which is the most cursed cooking string you've ever seen. Because we'll chop that.
Put the banana in the microwave.
Yeah, we're not going to repeat the same mistake. We're not going to repeat past mistakes. Yeah, well, chop milk, get a banana, put soup on the stove, and we get soup. Makes sense. And we put ketchup in the microwave, which gives us hot sauce, and we put all that in the fridge, and we get a key out of it. Got that?
Noted.
Yep.
There'll be a test later.
Okay. Don't grab me. I misclicked when I put the key in, and Leon almost grabbed me. But thankfully, we didn't have that happen. Good menuing.
This is the
on
most creative computer in
Sounded like
any
that came
video
from
game.
the other room.
Yeah. Fun fact, actually, and another GDQ run tidbit. That was actually apparently based off of something John Zemansky or Ducky did in his childhood, where he'd like do a similar computer to that.
He had limited screen time, so when that screen time was up, he couldn't live being away from the computer too long, so he would make his own cardboard computers to play with.
Yeah, and I
You can see why that family is all game devs now.
Yeah, and when I toss that grenade there, I toss it at a specific point in the room, basically against one of those pillars, to make it ricochet in such a way that it hits both Junebug and George in that room. Because otherwise they're very annoying to deal with, because you have to like dodge them both in a very tight space. These panels in a certain order, which again I have memorized. Let's get the last jigsaw puzzle piece that we need to activate an elevator to get to the roof. Again, with this being CEO %, there's a few people we have to help. You might have heard that disjointed piano music. The person playing that is a puppet named Arnold, who we have to help anyway to progress in the game. Unlike most of the other puppets where it's optional, Arnold is required. So I'm gonna get rid of the ammo, because we only need, like, one ammo for the end game from the Rolodexer. So we get to do a fun trick here. If you open the inventory, as soon as you press that lever, you get to see the inventory disappear below the ground. It doesn't actually do anything, it's just a fun visual trick.
We really only use it to spot the soda can in the inventory, so you don't have to fumble around the inventory later, because the soda can does work essentially the same as a chocolate bar.
Yeah, it's like slightly different, because doesn't it give you a slightly more amount of speed? I don't know.
I believe it's
exactly how it
equivalent
works.
to 2.
Ah, okay.
Don't
Also,
quote me on the...
yeah, and also when I flipped that lever, might not have looked like much, but when I was trying to run this game at first, I interacted with the panel and turned the power off on that at the same time as turning off that lever. Didn't know that wasn't required, so I was literally losing 5 seconds for no reason when I started to run this game. And also, if you're not careful on these ladders, you can essentially kill your run right at the end. If you'd like to elaborate on that.
Oh my, if you spam E at the top of any of these ladders too quickly to enter the next ladder, you would just teleport right down to the bottom. Really not good on that second ladder there, which takes about 30 seconds. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen when you're on PB pace.
Yep, sounds about right. Alright, so now we're in basically the finale. There's essentially an arena fight, kinda, that we have to do with a boss fight that I can only describe as an amalgamation of a bunch of different puppets that we've already seen throughout the game. And he has a lot of health, so we have to mostly use grenades to fight him. Also, after I throw them, there's a little bit of tech we have to do here. There we go. So that tech I just used there is something I like to call the flip shot. Where if you flip the pistol, and specifically the pistol, and then within that time frame where it's flipping, you shoot, it does 4 times damage. So we toss 6 grenades, shoot the pistol right there, to kill that final boss.
Completely unknown until a month and a half ago, by the way.
Yep. And time was when I pressed yes here, in this little cutscene with Ricky. Time.
GG.
I help the neighbors get a slot on public
So,
access TV.
as you can see there,
It was late
3301
night on weekdays.
IGT.
I don't think
My
I
PV is
watched it.
3135.
A couple of weeks though.
In practice, I ended up getting runs that was close to sub 31. So could very well PB soon. Hopefully.
By the end of the year,
And also, we did in fact get
channels
CEO
will have
percent.
signed
We
for
kind
the
of
whole
confirmed
season.
that by the music that's playing here,
Course,
and
after
also
my
the
boss found out
dialogue
I
that
was
Gordon
involved,
says is a bit different.
I got fired. But somehow, I
So
feel
yeah,
more hopeful about
that's
it.
the puppet horror game. I
It's
kind
hard
of
to describe.
talked about it a bit during the run itself,
It's
but
like you've been
highly
lost
recommend
in
pick
a
this
tunnel.
up. It's a very charming
Until
game.
suddenly
It's
a voice calls your name.
horror without the horror, basically,
You turn around, and you
and there's
see
just
the
a lot of
rising
charm
sun.
in the game in
And
general.
it's
So
bright,
I recommend
maybe it
picking
hurts
it
a
up.
little to look at.
And I know this is kind of daunting
Don't care.
with the how fast I was
Because it's
going with the
leaving you
chocolate
home.
bars, but it's actually a pretty beginner-friendly run. You don't have to learn the Sugar Rush route. There's like a slightly slower alternative you can learn it first, but yeah, pretty beginner-friendly run and pretty fun run to do,
Oh yeah.
no matter which category you do. Are there any shouts you want to give to Slayton while we're jamming to the credits?
I don't have any shout-outs, I don't think. I mean, other than to you. I mean, this was an amazing run. It's always good to see My Friend the Neighborhood and more stuff, and hopefully we get to see it in more going on.
Yeah.
Just one quick thing, to anybody that wants to pick up the run, there is a Discord for the game
Yeah,
on
very true.
SRC. It's right there on the page. There really isn't a better time to get into it than right now. There are so many people active, and the route is evolving, so everybody's kind of getting into it in a new like vision. So really, you can get in on that and be part of the game's history.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I want to give special shoutouts to the Demented Salad, because he's the one who devised the Sugar Rush route to begin with. And also shouts to David, or John Samansky, or Ducky as I sometimes refer to him. Made a banger of a game, and he was on commentary for the SGQ run, and in general is just very supportive of anyone who plays this game, including speedrunners. So shouts to you, Ducky. You made a very good game.
Amazing. Yeah. He's been very active in the community since day one.
Yeah, he's literally a leaderboard mod for the game, just to put that out there.
Also held the world record in the demo of the game for one day.
One day. Yeah, I think that's for else. If there's anything else you want to plug, or if you want to transition.
I think we're all good.
Yeah.
And that was My Friendly Neighborhood CEO percent run by Nerd Squared. Thanks so much for doing that run for us. You're watching Completeathon 2024, and our next run will be Phasmophobia Small Maps 100% by Princess Shortcake and Mel 1997. And we can get $50 to that Investigate Point Hope incentive. By the end of that run, we'll get to see a little extra from that game, which would be... I've heard really good things about that. But we have reached the end of my time hosting for today. My name's Stump. I used they, he pronouns, and it was nice to be the voice of Completeathon for these past few runs. I will be back on here tomorrow as a commentator for Pokemon Snap, Trading Card Game, and Spyro 2, and I'll be hosting again on Sunday for the Link's Awakening run. Thanks so much to Completeathon for having me. Good luck to all the remaining runners, and I'll hand things over to our next host, who's going to be Selkith's Mind.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Complete-a-thon 2024. My name is Selcouth but you can call me Sel, and I have been loving all these completionist runs so far this event. How about you, chat? Can I see some hype in chat for all these incredible runs that we've had this event? Because I know I've been loving them. They've been so cool. Such variety, too. From really long to just like 10 minutes. Super cool to see such a variety of length of runs. And you know what? That last run, the category CEO percent, was reminding me of how important our charity is. While women make up nearly half the gaming population, less than 24% of game developers in the United States are women. Girls Make Games was created to address this gender gap and create a space for girls to explore the world of video games. To date, nearly 25,000 girls in 160 cities and 22 countries have accessed game dev workshops, summer camps, and tutorials. Girls Make Games have published titles that have been downloaded over 190,000 times on partner platforms like PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Creators Program, Steam, and Google Play. By inspiring girls to engage with STEAM through the fun and creativity of game design, we're creating a world where girls have the chance to discover their potential through gaming and game dev. Such incredible work our charity does. And you all have been donating so generously towards it, including $10 from the G Money TTV, who says, Ayo Faz? That is, of course, a reference to our upcoming run, Phasmophobia, small maps, 100% professional difficulty. And there is an incentive open for that run. This is to investigate Point Hope. This is a new map that released about a month ago now, if I remember correctly. So it's a super unique map. It's set in a lighthouse. It's very cool. I was asking the runners just a little bit ago what some of their favorite things are about this new map, and they both told me there's a really super secret achievement. This like super secret achievement that we can get if that they're going to show it if we get incentive met. But of course, if we don't go to Point Hope, we don't get to see this super secret achievement. And I don't know, chat, this is Complete-a-thon. I think we need to see everything, right? We need to see everything. And you know, if that doesn't sell you, I've also been told there's adorable parrot and shark plushies in the run as well. So, ! Donate in chat. Get your donations in. Also, we're less than $10 from $900 total. Can we hit 900 before Phasmophobia starts? I think we can. That's super easy. Any amount, of course, goes toward helping our fantastic charity.